I caught her reflection in the mirror that night. My wife of 30 years. Her fingertips traced the nape of her neck as she whispered into the phone. "I'll see you tomorrow," she said, unaware I was watching. The look in her eyes wasn't meant for me. It hadn't been for a very long time. That moment, seeing Emma's desire meant for another man, ignited something within me I hadn't felt in years. Not jealousy, not even anger, but a strange, burning curiosity that tasted like metal on my tongue. I'd been blind for so long. We met in college, Emma with her art history major and me, Ryan, with my business degree and dreams of building an empire. She wore sundresses that caught the breeze, revealing glimpses of tan thighs as she crossed the campus quad. I would watch her from beneath the sprawling oak, pretending to read my textbook while tracking the way sunlight played in her auburn hair. When we married, I promised her the world. Instead, I gave her a glass house, beautiful, transparent, empty. 30 years later, I owned a chain of upscale fitness centers across 3 states. Success had come at a price: early mornings, late nights, business trips. Emma had built her interior design business from home, transforming other people's spaces while ours remained untouched for years. That spring morning, as dawn painted our bedroom in watercolor hues, I watched her sleeping form. The thin strap of her nightgown had slipped from her shoulder, revealing the gentle slope where neck met collarbone. Her chest rose and fell with each breath, the silk fabric clinging then releasing with each inhale. I reached to touch her, then stopped, a hesitation born from years of routine. "I have that trip to Miami next week," she murmured later in the kitchen, her back to me as morning light filtered through the blinds. The thin cotton of her robe revealed her silhouette in shadow, a stranger I once knew intimately. "Girls' trip?" I asked, watching her fingers wrap around her coffee mug, the steam rising between us like secrets. "Yes," she said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, her neck flushing pink. "Just a few days with some designer friends." Her voice changed when she lied, a subtle drop in pitch I'd never noticed before. Or perhaps I just never listened. That evening, as she showered, I stood in our walk-in closet, her phone face up on her vanity. 3 notifications from different men, all with innocuous names. Jeff Yoga about schedule changes. Marcus client asking about fabric samples. Daniel real estate confirming meeting times. My heart pounded against my ribs, a caged animal sensing danger. I set the phone down, my fingertips burning as though I'd touched fire. When Emma left for her Pilates class the next evening, I called James Sullivan, a private investigator recommended by my business attorney. His office smelled of leather and cologne, the blinds drawn against the afternoon sun, casting bar-shaped shadows across his desk. 32 years is a long time," Sullivan said, his voice like gravel. His fingers, thick and calloused, spread photographs across his desk, examples of previous cases. In one, a woman leaned against a hotel wall, head tilted back, eyes closed as a man's lips hovered at her throat. "Are you certain you want to know?" I loosened my tie, suddenly aware of the tightness in my chest. "Yes, the investigation cost $9,000. A small price for truth." Sullivan worked quickly, methodically. Within days, he delivered his first report, his expression grim as he slid an envelope across his desk. "I've been doing this 20 years, he said, his eyes tired. "Never seen someone juggle 3 separate affairs with this level of organization." My hands trembled as I opened the envelope. The first photo showed Emma entering an upscale condo building, her hand resting on the small of a man's back. Jeff, her supposed yoga instructor. Her fingers splayed against his lower back, proprietary and familiar. The second photo captured her through a window, her head thrown back in laughter, neck exposed as Marcus poured wine, his lips close to her ear. The third set was the most damning, Emma and Daniel in his car, her hand on his thigh, his fingers tangled in her hair as they kissed. Her wedding ring caught the sunlight, a mocking flash of gold. I ran my thumb over the glossy surface, feeling the smooth texture but seeing nothing. My mind had gone blank, white noise drowning out thought. "The Miami trip," Sullivan said, breaking the silence. "She's not going with girlfriends." "Of course not." My throat tightened as I envisioned her packing, carefully selecting lingerie I hadn't seen in years, her skin flushed with anticipation of another man's touch. That night, alone in our bed, I lay awake replaying moments that suddenly made sense. The late-night client meetings, the yoga classes that left her relaxed and glowing, the networking events that ran until midnight. For months, perhaps years, she had slipped from my arms into theirs, returning with stories crafted as carefully as the interiors she designed. I closed my eyes and saw her with them, her lips parting, eyes darkening with desire, fingers tracing patterns on skin that wasn't mine. The images should have disgusted me. Instead, they awakened something, a hunger to reclaim what I'd lost through my own neglect. While Emma packed for Miami, I packed for a different journey. I rented a furnished apartment downtown. Minimalist, modern, nothing like our suburban showpiece. As she folded delicate things into her suitcase, I transferred funds, contacted lawyers, created a new life in parallel to our disintegrating one. "I'll miss you," she said the morning of her departure, pressing a kiss to my cheek, her perfume lingering like a question. Her hand brushed my shoulder, fingers trailing down my arm. A performance of affection for an audience of one. "Have fun," I replied, watching her eyes. Not for hurt but for relief. She didn't notice. She was already gone. While Emma flew to Miami with Daniel, I met with my lawyer, Andrew, in his corner office overlooking the city. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed dark clouds gathering, mirroring the storm inside me. "This is thorough," Andrew said, flipping through Sullivan's report. Calendar entries, receipts, hotel bookings. He loosened his tie, the expensive silk catching the light. "She's been meticulous. Always was good with details," I said, my laugh hollow. "What happens now?" Andrew leaned forward, his forearms on the desk, cufflinks glinting. "We end this on your terms." I nodded, my throat tight as I signed the papers. My hand brushed Andrew's as he passed me a pen, the brief human contact startling in its warmth. I hadn't realized how cold I'd become. That evening, I moved essential items to my new apartment: clothes, toiletries, important documents. The place had clean lines and empty spaces, like a canvas awaiting color. I stood at the window, watching the city lights blink on as dusk settled. My reflection stared back, a man I barely recognized. I stripped off my shirt, the day's tension coiled in my shoulders. The last light of day painted my skin gold, then blue as night fell. For the first time in years, I looked at myself, really looked, at the body I'd maintained while neglecting everything else that mattered. Sullivan continued to send updates from Miami. Emma posted carefully curated photos on social media. Ocean views, elaborate meals, tropical drinks. No sign of Daniel in any of them. She messaged me daily. Fictional accounts of spa treatments and shopping with girlfriends who didn't exist. I imagined her in her hotel room, the sheets tangled around her waist, Daniel's hand tracing patterns on her bare back as she crafted these lies for me. I pictured her laughing as she pressed send, his lips against her shoulder, her skin flushed with secrets and sunlight. When Emma returned, tanned and smiling, our house appeared unchanged. Only one thing was different: the divorce papers waiting on the kitchen island, alongside Sullivan's complete report. I watched from my car across the street as her Uber pulled into our driveway. She wore a white sundress, her skin golden against the fabric. She paused at the front door, searching her bag for keys, unaware her life was about to implode.